Quote from the book on complexity reduction. Structured variant trees allow complexity to become visible and tangible, enabling systematic reduction of the number of variants. There are hardly any topics as divisive as complexity reduction. In this video, we will look at the topic from the opposing perspectives of marketing, engineering, and procurement. We will differentiate between bad and good complexity, and for good measure, we will order a Tesla Model 3. Let's get started. A couple of years ago, a marketing executive at a PC maker lamented the fact that she only had 29 laptop models on offer, while their main competitor had 50 laptops. Targeting every market segment, commercial and consumer, available everywhere, or specific for Best Buy, appeared to be the key. But then you had procurement struggle with models that only sold 200,000 units. Why would you even bother to have a supplier tool up for this? We can also observe a similar mindset in the automotive industry. I consider myself a bit of a car enthusiast, and just 10 years ago I was pretty much able to identify any car from quite a distance. But today, not a chance. There has been so much proliferation of models that even people working for a car maker cannot reliably distinguish the models their employer makes. And again, procurement has to nudge or even force suppliers to bring all of this to market. I've heard an automotive supplier complain that for just one SUV models, there are 96 variants of the front bumper, and the associated cost make the business with the OEM almost prohibitively expensive. I get the concept of micro-targeting customer segments, but does it really work? And do the cost of excessive complexity really pay off? I increasingly have my doubts. Right now, the best-selling car in Europe is the Tesla Model 3, a product by a car maker that currently has only 4 models on offer. And if you have not yet checked out Tesla's website, let's jointly order a Model 3.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's order a Model 3. So we click on the Model 3, then we go to order now. It's loading. Okay, so here's the Model 3. Let's go for the long range one because we want to do road trips. Then we can select the paint. No, actually I prefer the dark blue. And the wheels. I think the sport wheels look nicer. Interior black. No, I prefer the white one. And then we can add the full self-driving capability for $10,000, but since we can also buy this later on, so let's skip this. So, and then we continue the payment, and that's it. We've ordered a Model 3.
So 5 choices in total. No endless clicking through trim options where the sunroof requires matrix LED headlights. And matrix LED headlights require the big infotainment system, but the big infotainment system does not permit you to select the seat color you originally wanted. Maybe Tesla is taking it one step too far, and their model is appropriate for a relative newcomer in the market who is right now focused on just using the manufacturing capacity they have. And maybe an established car maker needs to offer more choice to customers. But when we talk about complexity, it is important to differentiate between bad complexity and good complexity. Bad complexity is what mostly happens below the skin of the product. Bad complexity drives assembly cost and inventory cost. It inevitably leads to idle capacity, requires higher investment in tools and equipment, and it makes time to market longer. And ultimately, it just makes the product more expensive without giving the end customer something to be excited about. There also is good complexity, and it typically happens above the skin of the product. It helps us differentiate the brand or the model, making end customers willing to spend more on a product. Good complexity allows marketing to send tailored messages to the market, and if done right, it leads to higher sales and higher profit margin. In an ideal world, marketing, engineering, and procurement are partners in striking the balance between bad complexity and good complexity. Structured variant trees can be extremely helpful here, and we recently applied them for a company selling laptop adapters to PC makers. The client had 42 adapter models on offer. There were different form factors, slim and tall adapters, and short and wide adapters. There were all kinds of MOSFETs, diodes, and bridge rectifiers in use. Heatsinks, thermal pads, dampers, and shielding appeared to come random. And the various adapters had completely different placement of components and widely different architectures. And following good practice, we started under the skin. First with a high-level logic to describe the products. Then we added the current complexity that came with the power ranges. And then came the pruning step, in which we cut away branches of the variant tree that were not necessary. Now, if you're familiar with some of the technology in adapters, you may observe that some of the 90-watt components made mainstream here tend to be more expensive than the 45-watt or 60-watt equivalents. True, and this needs to go into a detailed cost-benefit calculation, but we've seen quite often that the higher price of making the higher spec standard is more than compensated by all other benefits of having less complexity. So there you have it, D5 complexity reduction, a purchasing chessboard method that requires a continuous dialogue between procurement, engineering, and marketing. Okay, now it is your turn. What is your coolest story on battling with complexity? Let all of us know in the comments down below. And should you have a question, I will get back to you within 24 hours. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye.